front room, deep in the heart of Theatreland. I'm Vicky Island, and I'm the very proud chair of ACA. Now,
our first award this afternoon is the Outstanding Contribution to Children's Arts Award, nominated by the trustees to honour a true champion of children's arts.
Thank you very much, and a lovely piece of Irish music there, Danny Boy. I wore a green dress to show Irish connection. We are absolutely thrilled and absolutely delighted to be the first Irish arts organisation to ever receive a GM Barrie Award. So we're absolutely doubly proud, not only to win such a prestigious and fantastic award, but also to be the only Irish organisation to be acknowledged at this level.
Since its inception in 2002, Sticky Fingers, led by artistic director Grania Powell, has engaged thousands of children in magical, creative experiences.
So I grew up on the border, this famous border in Northern Ireland. And I grew up in a townland called South Armagh, which traditionally would have been in the news here in the UK for all the wrong reasons. And I grew up right in the middle of some of the worst conflict that happened. But I grew up in a magical space. I was very lucky when things happened, which they did, we would have a blackout, and I loved the blackouts. The blackouts happened because something had happened, either a bomb or a killing, but it meant story time. And my parents would be home early, or the school would close, and we would be told stories. And we were told these magical, magical stories about the fairies, about the witch that lived on top of Sleepgullion, and about all the different characters and the great warriors and the giant who fought over to Scotland, and that's how we have the Giant's Causeway. And we grew up in this rich environment of storytelling, which was accompanied by music. So when we moved back as an organisation in 2002 from Belfast, I became very aware that we didn't have a lot of arts opportunities for children in the border region. And there's loads of different reasons for that. So we set about creating opportunities for children to have an opportunity to experience the arts, because we knew how incredibly important it was that every child had this right, regardless of background or what location they happened to live in.
Our first winner is musician and conductor Helen Smee.
I think we've probably all seen the really, really bad news that's had a lot of publicity this week. I think the figure that really struck me was that 60% of our secondary schools have one or fewer music teachers. Fewer than one person responsible for your whole school music education is pretty terrifying. Chris and I actually live very close to a big comprehensive with 1,000 boys, and they have one music teacher responsible for 1,000 kids, and they have about 10 people singing in their school choir. I don't believe there are 1,000 boys in that school, and only 10 of them enjoy making music. I don't think that's possible from my experience with young people.
Our other winners this year are part of the GOSH Arts team at Great Ormond Street Hospital for Children. Head of Arts Susie Hall and Arts Manager Caroline Moore.
In a very stressful environment, it makes everybody just smile and relax, and takes a bit of the stress away.
Our participatory programme, art commissions and temporary exhibitions inspire creativity, create welcoming environments and offer meaningful cultural opportunities across a variety of art forms for patients, families and staff.
Who would have thought that you could have musicians on the wall making such a difference, and they do, to everyone, to patients, to family and to us as well who work here.
We work with a range of exciting artists and cultural organisations to bring the very best quality artistic experiences to GOSH patients. We believe the arts are an integral part of childhood, and no child should be denied access to the arts because they are ill.
How very fitting it is to be here for the J.M. Barrie Awards, because as you may know, J.M. Barrie had a very long association with Great Ormond Street. He actually gifted the rights to Peter Pan to the hospital in 1929, and we continue to be inspired by his legacy, and really by the legacy of Peter Pan and the magic and importance of childhood. about it. So, finally, we want to say how proud we are to receive this award. As you heard in our film, we consider the hospital to be an arts centre, a space where families can experience both world-class healthcare and world-class cultural opportunities. And receiving this award recognises that. Thank you.
Well, you know, I used to think I was supposed to have been born into a musical family, but are really something else. Stuart and Kadie, Kanneh-Mason, have raised and nurtured not just 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, 6, but 7 amazingly talented musicians. As a family, the Kanneh-Masons have defied the popular perception that playing an instrument is only something posh kids do. And they're a beacon of light in the otherwise gloomy landscape for music education. But let's get back to Stuart and Kadie. They're both incredibly modest and would have you believe that their offspring's incredible achievements have little or nothing to do with them. But I've found a clue to Stuart and Kadie's incredible commitment to their children's musical development in this comment Kadie made during an interview with The Times. The key to encouraging children to practice is to make sure that you sit with them, as it's a bit lonely for children to just go off and practice. So I would sit with each for half an hour in turn. Now, of course, in normal circumstances. So in other words, Kadie spent 3.5 hours every evening listening to her children play, and I think that that just shows how well deserved this award is.
We haven't actually got a speech, which is probably typical of us, but maybe I could start by just saying a little bit about today. So I kind of got off the tube today thinking I knew where I was coming. I'd been sent some meticulous notes by Sarah Maxwell. I came out of the tube, put on Google Maps, you know, Prince Charles Theatre. I then heard this screaming voices behind me, Dad. So then I was bumped into by Isata and Konya, all excited. But within 5 minutes we were arguing about where we were going. And we then got a phone call from Brian and Shaker saying they got lost and they didn't know where we were going. And that could have been the worst. But then I got a phone call from Kadie, the lovely Kadie here, and saying, emergency, emergency. I've left a violin on the tube. And so, how do we get the younger children to? So Jennifer, our other child, had to bring, who's only 16, had to bring Aminat, who's 13, and Mariette, who's 9, on her own to get here. Kadie had to go up to another and got here. But in the end, as a family, we're all here together. This award is as much about family as anything else, and in the end we always seem to manage to come together.
Just to echo what Stuart said, that it's not just us as parents who raise these children. You can't raise a child without a community, and we've been very lucky in that, and very lucky in children's schools. And I'd like to echo what Julian Lloyd Webber was saying, that if they take music out of schools, then these children could not ever have been what they are. So we're very lucky, and thank you.